Hello, students. Welcome to the final lesson on the principles of art. Today, we are going to learn about the principles proportion and unity. Let's begin. Proportion is how multiple ideas and images in one work of art work together to create harmony and balance. Here are two sets of examples I drew to demonstrate proportion: balanced and exaggerated. On the top left, we have a face that has even and balanced proportion. Notice how the lips are the same width as the center of the eyes are level with the top of the ears, and the nose is at the center of the face. On the right, we have an exaggerated drawing of the face. I drew larger eyes than what we would normally see in real life, and a tiny nose, ears, and lips. This makes it look more like a cartoon. If you think back to images we see in cartoons like Japanese anime or visual storybooks like manga, we sometimes see exaggerated parts of the face to make the images look more whimsical. On the bottom half, I drew nature examples of how we can change proportion to create an entirely different image. Both images have a flower and a tree. On the left, we have a balanced proportion of what we would see in real life. But on the right, we see a very large flower next to a very tiny tree, like in Alice in Wonderland. You can tell they are right next to each other because they are each on the same level of grass. Depending on what you want to create, you can draw different images that we see in real life, or change the proportion of your images to create a fantasy world. Unity is when we use multiple elements of art to work together to complete our masterpiece. Having unity in our art shows our artwork is finished. Let's look at these examples I drew. You can show unity in many ways. Grouping things together that are similar in theme, like different types of balloons or rounded fruits, show unity. Patterns with shapes, like a chain of circles or hearts in different directions, or a balanced proportion of people linked together, all of these images look complete because they have a theme and the elements work together. For today's art project, we are going to make what I would like to call a unity globe. For lower elementary, this may be our last art project together for the school year, so I made this project extra special. Here we go. For the supplies, you will need 2 different kinds of circles to trace that will fit 1 sheet of blank paper, a drawing pencil, a fine tip black marker, coloring pencils, and a good eraser. Let's begin with the larger circle. Place the larger circle at the center of your paper and very lightly trace a dash line all around it. This will be a guide for us to know where the edge of our drawing will be. It will eventually be erased. Then place the smaller circle at the center as best as you can and trace a solid line around it. This will be the globe and will later be outlined in black marker. Now we are going to draw lines where we want people to be drawn around the globe. Lightly draw vertical dash lines in between the outer and inner circle. To make them equal, draw a line above and below the outside of your globe. Turn your paper around and repeat. This will create 4 lines. Now draw a line in between each one to create 8 lines. Repeat the process. Once you are finished, you should have 16 short vertical lines in between your inner and outer circle. Now I am going to draw the head on top of each line. I decided to draw them all the same size and shape, and used the outer dash line as a guide so I know not to draw the heads past the outer circle. That way they are all around the same height. The trick to making even, well-rounded circles is to draw with very light pressure and draw in short strokes. If you draw a circle in one line, chances are each of your circles will be a different shape. So if you want them all to look the same, take your time. It takes practice, but the more you do it, the easier it will become. Here's what your image should look like so far. Now you have two options. You can keep your people as stick figures like the image in the top corner, and that's totally fine, but I decided to remove the vertical lines on mine and give them a more complete look. I drew different hair and different clothes, but I kept them all the same size. If you want to do what I did, think about your friends and classmates. Maybe draw them and what they like to wear. Each of you can surround the globe. Draw sweatshirts, t-shirts, dresses, shorts, pants. Make each person unique and special, like you. You can draw clothes and hair on your stick figures, or follow along with how I drew the people here. Please take your time and give each one nice detail. The sample image in the corner shows how I drew the globe to look like the Earth. But the children I drew reminded me of our school, and I wanted the focus to be on them. So I decided to draw bubble letters in my globe and keep it simple. I drew WMS to represent our school, but had the bubble letters fit the inside of my circle. If you want to draw bubble letters, you can draw a word that comes to mind when you think of friends joining hands. Love, unity, peace. Instead of a word, you could draw an abstract pattern of lines and shapes so the focal point of your art can be the globe instead of the people. The choice is yours. Now, I wouldn't recommend doing this if you have a thick black marker and you put a lot of detail into your image. A thick marker might cover all of your hard work. So only outline everything in black marker if you have a very fine, thin tip and you use very light pressure. If you do not have a black marker, you could outline everything in different colored pens. When you are finished, erase any visible pencil markings. Here is my drawing. Pause the video here and then press play when you are ready to color. As I was coloring, I began to think of all the wonderful art we created together throughout this past year. Let's take a trip down memory lane of some of the masterpieces we created. For some of you, this was only half of the masterpieces we worked on together. Which project was your favorite? I want to thank those who have showed me their artwork this past year. I am so proud of you all and the efforts you put forth in your work. I hope you all had fun with what you made these past months. Be proud of your art and creativity. Continue to make masterpieces. If you do create any works of art over the summer, please email them to me if you can. I would love to see them. Lower elementary, I had fun getting to know you through your artistic talents. Until next time, take care and stay creative.